Neither COVID-19 nor the summer heat have slowed the pace in Radnor Township. Here to update us on happenings in the 6th Ward of the Township and the Township at large is Jake Abel, 6th Ward Commissioner. In this episode of Commissioner's Corner, a series of programs that are produced by MLTV Mainline as a public service to keep residents current on what's going on in the Township, particularly those happenings at the government level that affect the quality of life in Radnor Township. Hello, Jake. How are you?
Rick, good. How are you?
Okay. You're surviving, I take it?
Doing the best we can.
You've got, what, 3, 4 kids that you have to shepherd every day?
We have four boys.
Oh my God. Yeah. And trying to keep them busy.
Yeah, we do. We spend a lot of time out on the soccer fields.
I'm sure. You just had a meeting of the commissioners this past Monday. Anything of particular note come out of that meeting that you want to share with us?
We had a couple items that were of interest. One that's gaining the most attention is this resolution that recommends residents wear a mask to prevent the spread of COVID-19.
Yes.
Obviously, if you don't understand at this point that wearing a mask is a good thing. I don't know where you've been since earlier this year. You can't go into a store in Radnor without seeing 3 or 4 signs that say wear a mask, or you can't enter without wearing a mask. So I ended up voting against this resolution for a couple of reasons. One, I've made it a point over the last year that I'm not going to support non-binding resolutions, ones that don't really have any teeth. There's no substance to it. So just recommending something just isn't good enough for me.
What's the point of it then?
Well, here's the thing.
Face saving?
What's that? Is
it just face saving for the board?
Well, yeah. So I think it's a little bit of some partisan gamesmanship where I've come to find that when you have these types of resolutions, there's some motive behind it. And when we discussed when this resolution was introduced during the meeting, all of a sudden, the 3 commissioners who supported it, and there were only 5 members at the board for Monday's meeting. The 3 commissioners who supported it all donned masks. So it's almost like a PR stunt. And I'm just, I was elected to do a couple things. I was elected to make sure our neighborhoods are safer, to protect our parks, and to resurface roads. And this just doesn't fall into any one of those 3 categories.
Yeah. Oh, well. There was another item on the agenda, as I recall, from what I read, some discussion anyway about start for construction in the township, which is always a sensitive issue. When contractors can start, whether it's 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, banging nails and sawing boards and wherever else they do. Was that resolved?
No, I don't believe so. So this was the introduction to an ordinance change. So it'll have to come back before the board again for final adoption. My recollection of this conversation started when the commissioner who introduced the proposed change said some residents in her ward, their children were being woken early by construction, and I understand that. Yeah, I hear that from residents from time to time. But the draft of the resolution, I don't think addressed that, because we ended up the initial proposal was to go to 8 a.m. But then the commissioners moved it back to 7 a.m. So we're not addressing that issue of construction workers starting early. We've left it the same. The proposed ordinance change reduces, it cuts back at the evening hour, so from 9 p.m. to 7 p.m., which I think, I could support that change.
Yes.
And then the one thing it does, which I just can't support, is it allows for construction on Sundays. And if we're trying to provide a peaceful environment for families and some quiet time, allowing construction to occur 7 days a week, it doesn't do that. And Sundays to me is a family day, and where people want to be outside in the summertime and enjoy the family time.
I'm not aware of any community that permits construction on Sunday.
Well, we may be the first, and I don't think it's going to go over well with the residents.
I wouldn't think so.
So I will not be supporting anything that allows construction on Sunday. And then the other issue for me is, I wasn't clear who we're impacting here. Is it construction? Is it landscapers, tree companies? I mean, all those things have to be spelled out, and I just didn't think it was done well in this current proposal.
As it is now, Jake, I don't think landscapers can start before 7 o'clock. I know at 7 o'clock, I hear lawnmowers all over this community.
Yeah, so right, everyone can start at 7, but I think what they're trying to do here is um, um, limit construction. But what's the difference between a construction worker's hammer or a landscaper's lawnmower?
Yes.
To me, it's all noise. So while you're trying to resolve one issue, you're creating 5 other problems. So if you want to look at the issue at noise, I think we'd be better off doing that.
Okay. Is there an agenda behind this?
Not that I'm aware of. I think it's trying to address some concerns from residents. But again, if you resolve one resident's concerns, I think you're going to create problems for others.
It always happens that way. You can't please all the people all the time. You know
Right.
that because you live it, as do the other members of the board.
Yeah, but that Sunday issue is going to be a sticking point.
No, I agree. I had no idea they were even considering that. That there should be some pushback on that from residents.
Yeah, I think there will be.
Okay. Microcells. I mean, it's one of those issues that has been around for a long time. It's been discussed by a number of people at many meetings, and it's still unresolved. What's the current status of microcells, at least from the township standpoint, in Radnor?
Well, I mean, I don't think the issue's unresolved. There's microcells all around Radnor Township. You know, we have close to, I think the last count was 16 or 17 microcells within the township. So the township has an agreement, has a right-of-way agreement with Crown Castle, and they work in the township. I think the issue is that there are those neighborhoods around the Willows that have dead zones, and there's 2 neighborhoods who have expressed opposition, and there's one neighborhood that is still discussing the initiative or the idea. So from my perspective, I'm kind of a bridge between the residents and the township, and the township is in coordination with Crown Castle. So as I hear from the residents from the neighborhood that seems to still have questions, I'll work with the township to have those questions answered.
As far as you know, is it an issue among communities in other wards that is having microcells in their communities?
Yeah, so I haven't heard from other wards or from other residents in other wards that they have these concerns or that they're talking about microcells. I mean, most people don't know that microcells are in their neighborhoods or on their streets until somebody points it out to them.
Yeah. Well, I suspect, as with so many other issues, it's a lack of information and a misunderstanding of what information is available on the part of residents. Yeah,
I mean, I think there's some people that it is an education issue. Like I said, a lot of people don't know what microcells are until somebody points it out. A second issue is it's always we have a problem, but I don't want anything in my yard. And I understand that.
Yeah.
So again, my goal was just to be able to educate people and provide options. Some people have decided that they don't want that option, and that's fine.
But it's inevitable. There will be microcells in communities in Radnor Township. Period.
Well, there are now, and I think if carriers decide that they need a network in areas, there's little that the residents. I mean, they have Crown Castle can work in the right of way. They are a utility company, and they'll be in the township.
Okay. Another project that has been of special interest to you is the West Wayne Pedestrian Improvement Project. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so this all came about. This has to do with the TAP Trail, which is it's an effort to increase pedestrians and bike use through the township. And so the TAP Trail, I believe, is connects the North Wayne train station and comes all the way out to West Wayne and funnels right into the Radnor Trail. Mm-hmm. Part of the proposal, and I'm not sure why this even made sense in the beginning, and this was well before I was on the board, was to establish a crosswalk along Conestoga Road at Lenore Avenue, and then build a ramp from Conestoga to the Radnor Trail. this is a dangerous part of Conestoga. To me, it didn't make sense. It put our youth in jeopardy if they were riding bikes or trying to cross, because Conestoga, it's a lot of traffic,
Yes.
and it's at high speeds. So, I mean, to me, the ideal spot to do a crosswalk would be where we already have one, which is at Conestoga and West Wayne Avenue, and then we would improve the sidewalks, make them ADA accessible, expand for pedestrian use, and to have a bike sharing lane. And this actually goes. This is all the credit goes to the residents for coming out last year, opposing the proposal, and putting their support behind this idea to use West Wayne Avenue. And I was excited on Monday night when the board passed the project to continue the project. It's separate from the TAP trail, but it's the idea is that it's going to connect with the Radnor Trail.
And to the satisfaction of the neighbors, as far as you know?
Yeah, the neighbors, all the neighbors that I've talked to are supporting this plan. And a lot of those neighbors have kids at Wayne Elementary, and we use it, daily. Okay.
Darby Paoli Road. It was closed going one way for a long time because of weather and COVID and God knows what else. Now it's open. Frankly, I couldn't believe that bridge, such as it was, took that much time, but that's a whole other story. Now we're going to have Darby Paoli Road closed going the other way over the bridge, the Duck Pond Bridge, as people
right.
Can you give us some idea of how long that will be closed?
Well,
and is that entire bridge going to be replaced?
Yeah, so the bridge is replaced. I believe they're going to widen the road in some area.
Yeah, really needs it.
I don't have a time frame on the date it's going to close, and I can follow up on that and get back to you. And I think that may have been impacted by the storms last week.
Yes.
So that may be delayed, but that road will be closed coming up here, I would think, in the next week to 10 days. And then you're not going to be able to access it for the rest of the year.
That's going to be a lot of fun. It was fun the other way. It's going to be worse going that way.
Yeah, I haven't been on Darby Paoli Road in months because of that project.
It was, yeah. Well, the morning traffic at that particular intersection is really heavy. So I don't know what people are going to do. They'll find a way. And of course, again, the problem is, as you very well know, these back roads were never intended for this traffic. Never.
Right.
Just can't handle it. And
well, yeah. And
there haven't been more accidents on these back roads with speed and volume.
Right. And the volume's increased as Conestoga Road backs up. So everybody's using Darby Paoli now as the cut through.
Yeah. And if school ever reopens, of course, it'll be even worse with school buses and so on.
Yep.
A couple of quick lists on updates. One is Wawa. Is that still in the courts?
I've had no update on the Wawa. So my understanding is it's still in the courts.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I tell you what, if that Wawa, so here's how the stuff we do on the board impacts neighborhoods. So say we passed that construction ordinance and we allowed Sunday construction.
Oh yeah.
Wawa could potentially, if they ever were able to build on that site, you could have construction at that corner of Lancaster and Aberdeen across from St. Catherine's Church on a Sunday.
Yeah, 7 days a week.
So we've got to think about that. Not just what we do impacts, and how it's the big picture and how it impacts everybody.
Yeah. Has anybody pointed that out?
I don't know. I don't know. What people are thinking.
Yeah.
But it's something that people have to think about.
Yeah. All right. Any updates on summer activities in the township? I know the parks have been busy to the extent that they can be under the circumstances.
Yeah, it's great driving down South Devon or West Wayne Avenue and seeing the baseball fields with Radnor Wayne Little League being played. It's been missed, and it's been missed by. If I'm sitting out there watching some of the boys play, I see neighbors ride their bikes over, and they don't even have kids at the Little League age, and they're just over there to watch because they want to see the parks being used. Yeah,
they want to see a game.
Yeah, and And thankfully, they're competitive games. These kids are getting more time on the field, so they're really good baseball players at a young age.
Jake, any other initiatives with at the Wayne Business District to help the restaurateurs and so on who are suffering?
No, I mean nothing's been before the board, or we haven't discussed anything. The tent is still out on North Wayne Avenue, and it gives an opportunity for people to be patrons at the restaurants and sit outside and safely sit outside. So I think that continues, and that'll continue for another several weeks through the fall. But we need to look at initiatives. We've got communities all over still doing drive-in movies, and I think that's something that would be well received in Radnor Township.
What's holding that up?
Yeah, I don't know. We talked about it a few weeks ago at a meeting, and the board
tabled it?
No, the board supported it. So it's just something that we have to follow up with the Parks and Recreation Department on to see where that plan is. And I don't know if there's some reluctance, just school may be restarting. We've seen numbers spike in surrounding townships.
Yes.
And there may be some reluctance there to hold these large gatherings if and I think this is right. If the goal is to get kids back in school and keep businesses open, where do we draw the line? On events.
When does the board start cranking up the budget for next year?
I kind of made this point in my newsletter and on social media last week. Why instead of discussing these non-binding resolutions, why don't we spend 20 minutes and start talking about what our goals are for the budget? Because it's going to be a challenging budget season, knowing that we're not going to meet our revenue marks. So, and unfortunately, I think we really have to look at cuts and not spend, and where we can control spending.
Yes. Yeah, you think that's why the board is procrastinating a bit? It's such a hot issue.
No, I think this seems to be the trend with the board, is to hold off till after the summer months and then try to cram 3 or 4 meetings with budgetary items. And I don't think that's the smart way to do it.
The November election has no bearing on what the board considers or does not consider?
I haven't given any thought to that. I don't think so. We don't. It's not a local election this year. It's a national election. So I don't think our budget is. The budget we do this year may impact the election cycle next year when 4 wards are 3 wards are being decided.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Anything else to wrap up?
No, I think we did a quick drive around the township there and covered a lot of items.
Okay. Thank you, Jake, as always. And again, thank you and the other members of the board for all the time you put in.
Good being with you, Rick.
Okay. Thank you. Till next time. This has been Commissioner's Corner, a public service program by MLTV Mainline. Until next time, take very good care of yourselves.